Please welcome CyrusMistry and ZachYeskel.
Hi everyone, I'm really excited to talk to you today about what's on the horizon for Chrome OS in education. My name is CyrusMistry and I'm the Group Product Manager at Google responsible for Chromebooks in business, education, and government. Please keep in mind, we're going to be giving you a whole bunch of interesting, forward-looking information. Please do keep this confidential. Please no screenshots, no sharing, tweeting, blocking, etc. It's all under NDA. And while we try really hard to meet all of the dates that you see here, they're obviously not official commitments. Things can slip or change around or come earlier sometimes. The nice thing is all the major computer manufacturers in the world make Chromebooks, which is really, really great. There are now 50 different models of Chromebooks that are out there. We now have recently announced, as you probably hear, that we now do 8 years of automatic updates, which is really, really amazing. That means you already think of these as very low TCO from a management and low total cost of ownership. But now the fact that you'll be able to use it for that much longer is really great. And the fact that the devices themselves can be much less expensive and are much more easily shared. So really, really great story there. We talked briefly about all the different audiences that are out there, and we are focused on making sure that we have devices and device types that will meet the needs of the entire range, right? As you're starting to see higher end devices now, you're starting to see teachers and IT admins using Chromebooks, which is really exciting, right? There are Chromebooks that range from less than $200 to $1,500. There are touch, convertible, detachable, stylus, tablet, desktop, Chromebox, Chrome base, right? Every type of device that's out there. And global availability is really important to us too, right? No matter where you are, we want to make sure that you not only can get Chromebooks, but that you have a good availability and selection of Chromebooks, which is a constant thing that we're striving for. And then in the ecosystem, what are we doing when talking about investing in the ecosystem? The first thing is making sure that we help with wayfinding as far as peripherals are concerned, making it really, really easy to know which ones are going to just work out of the box, be really, really sure. And generally speaking, most of these peripherals have worked fine, but it really does help to have that stamp of approval, that certification. And you can get a sense here for the types of things coming. And there's a great URL you can go to if you want to learn more. What are we doing as far as our application developers part of the ecosystem? We want to make sure that they have a platform that they can build upon on Chromebooks. And what's interesting is the web platform has made incredible progress and is now the leading platform that developers are leaning into. In fact, the other operating system players out there as well are all leaning into the power of progressive web apps, PWAs, and what it can do as far as rich applications that can basically do everything. In addition, Chromebooks also have, which is kind of exciting, the largest mobile application ecosystem in the world as far as Android apps. And we are now going to be fully supporting Android apps on Chromebooks, which is really exciting. Just, of course, keep in mind, thick client apps do affect the shareability and performance of the devices. So it's really important to kind of think hard before you go down that path. And we even, in record time, launched a distance learning page as well. We introduced search functionality to it, and there's now great, all kinds of other filtering that you can do, which is really cool. You can see the traction of Chromebook App Hub has been just outstanding. We also launched recently, and you probably heard about this, and we're continuing to expand the portfolio here for app licensing, right? Where you can, at the time of purchase, you can purchase applications for your users, which is a really, really nice thing. And the benefit of being able to do this is you don't have to go out with each application developer as a school and do a separate licensing agreement, which is really painful. And, oh, by the way, I added these 5 students and I took away these 7. And so this is kind of a really, really nice feature to have. There's a lot of features coming, and you can see them here in the area of stylus support and touch, right? This is becoming more and more popular. Every year, the percentage of devices that have touch and stylus are growing. And it's no surprise. This is actually very, very common to how kids prefer to learn and interact with a device, which is really nice. Just make it, really easy, note-taking, etc. There are 2 Chrome extensions that we are going to be deprecating this summer, so please keep that in mind. Share the Classroom and Cast for Education. It turns out the users were using them for something that for another product that is already there, and you'll learn more about this. We'll make sure to get information out to you. But we just wanted to give you a heads up. about these two. Now let's talk about what we're doing for IT administrators as far as visibility, control, security. IT admins care a lot about device management and specifically transparency into their fleet. What exactly am I going to be getting? What's happening out there with my devices? What versions are they on? What is their IP address? One of the cool features that our partners are going to really love is we're going to let them know when their devices are going to be expiring. The updates are going to be expiring ahead of time so that they can contact their favorite reseller and go get a whole new refresh set of Chromebooks, which is really nice. Privacy of end user data is super important. Every piece of data is encrypted on a Chromebook, no matter what. But we still want to give IT admins the ability to remotely power wash, remotely remove user data if they really want, remote in to kiosk mode, which is super useful for high stakes assessments, etc. There's a whole set of features around Chrome browser for education. So if you get a chance, I urge you to go look at all of the new features coming with Chrome browser. Chrome browser has been in education for a very long time, and you can see some of the cool new features here. In fact, a really neat feature that they launched is something called Chrome Browser Cloud Management, which is this ability to actually manage your Chrome browsers that are running on other devices entirely through the cloud, right? So you no longer need to use kind of GPO or SCCM or all of that type of stuff. You can do it entirely through the cloud, which is really nice. And that gives you other cool features like update controls, right? Now that you can manage from the cloud, you can say, I want these users to have this version of the browser or these users to have this. You can now group your tabs, which is kind of really cool. People have been wanting that for a long time. And another IT admin favorite request is, can you please make it so that my end users can just request an extension if they want it versus me either giving them access to do whatever they want or not letting them do anything. And so this is also going to be coming, which is really nice. A whole bunch of features around print management, right? Making sure, and I forgot to mention on the deprecation page, that cloud print deprecation is on track, so please make sure that your customers are set up. This is a good opportunity to make sure that they've got everything that they need as far as print management and all of the print types of features. We are working with all of these different partners that are out there to make sure that they're not only getting everything that they had with Google Cloud Print, but that they are getting even more functionality than they would have otherwise, which is really nice. This is another big partner favorite, which is make it really, really easy to have devices directly drop shipped to an end user, to a classroom or to a school that maybe doesn't have an IT admin, and the devices will just automatically enroll when they start up. Enrollment already on a Chromebook compared to imaging on any other device is super easy, as you guys all know, right? You hit Control-Alt-E, and that's how you image your device. It takes about 4 seconds, but that still requires the end user to do something when they get it. So it'd be even better if the device is automatically enrolled to, Lincoln High or whatever you need. So that's going to be a really cool feature. And then for the end user features, accessibility is super important to us. So there's a whole bunch of accessibility features we're launching. In fact, accessibility, privacy, and security are mandatory teams that every feature has to go through and have reviews done with those teams, which I think is such a really good cultural thing that Google has done for many years to make sure that we are always thinking about privacy, security, and accessibility for every feature. Another cool thing that we're doing, and this also just recently launched a few weeks ago, is making sure that parents also have management capabilities over Chromebooks so that they can set bedtimes and see what apps are being used, restrict what apps are being used, restrict what websites are being used. And we're working, the consumer and EDU teams are working together to actually do this, to make sure that students get access to everything they need for schoolwork, but at the same time, the parent can be in charge when you're at home, which I think is really nice. Here's a URL to go get more information. You can see it there to go get all the Chrome release notes. You can subscribe. You can decide you want to be a trusted tester, which is a really great idea to get sneak previews at all the stuff that's coming. And thank you very much. I know that was quite quick. With that, I would like to turn it over to Zach, who will tell you about all the exciting things that are coming in G Suite for Education.
Thank you, Cyrus. Really excited to be here virtually and share our G Suite for Education roadmap with you. Like Cyrus said, my name is ZachYeskel. I'm the product lead for G Suite for Education. Been on the education team for about 8 years. I helped start Google Classroom back in the day, and used to be a high school math teacher before I joined Google. So really seen the full picture. So really quickly, just overall for G Suite for Education, you all know this, but our goal is to help our users to teach and learn anytime, anywhere. The anywhere piece is more important than ever, but our tools are always trying to do these 4 things. 1, try to make sure our tools are really easy to use, simple to deploy, manage, and use day to day. It's really important that our tools are flexible and they're scalable. We want to make sure our users have choice and that they participate in the open ecosystem of all the tools that schools are using. They're also built with collaboration from the ground up so that teachers and students can connect more meaningfully with each other. And really importantly, they're secure by design. School and student data is protected at every level of the system. In terms of the roadmap, I'm going to talk about our two categories of things that we're working on in 2020. The first is about our teaching and learning tools. I'm going to talk about how we're simplifying those tools to make sure no matter where people are learning from, they're able to have improved learning opportunities. And the second is in terms of the management and the safety and security of those tools, make continued improvements to our admin and our teacher experience to really create safe learning environments. So first up, how are we improving our teaching and learning tools? We're going to start with Google Classroom. So Google Classroom has seen tremendous growth over the past several months, and we have several improvements coming that are both about addressing the feedback from remote learning and also some other things that we've had in the works. First is obviously our Meet integration launched several months ago, and we are making some improvements to that over the coming months. We're also adding some things to make it possible for teachers to customize their posts with rich text editing, so you can bold or italicize, link things. We're also making sure that you can find the signal from the noise in your classroom notifications, and you'll have finer grained controls over those notifications. We're also making it easier to share from Classroom, so you can just share a link to join the class, share a link to an assignment, and the right people will be able to get into the class more easily. And then lastly, we've seen growth globally with Classroom, and so we're expanding Classroom to several new languages in places where we've seen some of that new growth. Outside of Classroom, we have a tool called Google Assignments. Google Assignments is designed to bring the best of G Suite and Google to any LMS. So if you're not using Google Classroom, it's an LTI tool that lets you create, analyze, and grade student work from any other learning management system. Google Assignments has been in beta for a little while, and now it's launching to GA in Q3. Originality reports is a feature of both Classroom and Assignments. And the idea of originality reports is that we really tried to flip traditional plagiarism detection on its head and have designed a tool that's really designed with the student in mind, helping the student turn in their best work. One of the things that we've been working on in beta and are now bringing to general availability is called student-to-student matches, which lets the teacher not just compare against student work against matches from the web, but also matches from other student submissions in the same school. Several other capabilities launching to improve the user experience of originality reports, things like saving and printing the report, things like commenting directly from the reporting interface instead of swapping back and forth to docs, scanning additional file types. So now it's not just Google Docs, you can scan Google Slides and some other file types. And again, we're expanding to several new languages. Google Meet has been top of mind for all of us over the past several months. And we've made several improvements to it that I'll highlight, and then I'll talk about what's coming next. We've talked before about the advanced features that we made free to all, not just all education users, but all G Suite users through September 30th. We've also made several improvements, integrations with Classroom, integrations with Gmail, tiled view, so you can have a lot more people on the screen at the same time. It's hard to remember how we lived without that, and better presentation tools on Google Meet. In the rest of the year, there's a lot of things launching that we think schools will really value. On the G Suite for Education side, features like hand raising, so you can get the teacher's attention without disrupting the class, digital whiteboarding, so you can actually use Jam, our digital whiteboarding tool, deeply integrated with Meet, so students and teachers can jam together in real time. And again, expanding closed captions this time to a lot more languages. Closed captions were designed for accessibility initially, but are really valuable to anybody who's trying to follow along with a class or a meeting. On the G Suite Enterprise for Education side, we've already announced this first thing, intelligent quality improvements, low light mode on web, noise cancellation, really make sure that the quality of your meeting is best in class. And then we're also launching several things to make large classes or large meetings a lot smoother to run, like breakout rooms, you can divide into subgroups, attendance tracking so that the teacher can know exactly who was there and how long, Q&A and polling so that for a regular meeting or a live stream, you can really engage with your participants or your students, whether it's with a poll or a live Q&A. For Google Docs, there's a bunch of things coming that really are designed to help students be better writers and, again, create their best work. The first couple are about assistive writing. So autocorrect, which helps you correct spelling mistakes or grammar mistakes as you type. And Smart Compose, which actually helps complete your sentences for you and reduces the chance of error. Both of these will have admin controls, so admins will have full control over who has access to those features. Also, we're launching citations in docs, which is really important for students when they're writing academic papers, so they can follow whatever academic format their instructor requires. So that was G Suite for Education, some of the capabilities there. I'll also talk about some updates to learning applications in our portfolio outside of G Suite for Education. These are tools that are designed to be actually used outside of the school. Socratic's the first of these. If you haven't seen it, it's a mobile app. The idea is that students just take a picture of their homework, and it provides targeted resources and assistance that's really customized to whatever problem they're working on. One of the things that we've been really working to improve is Socratic support for math homework. So we're excited to launch a math solver later this year. We've also seen tremendous growth in Socratic in lots of Spanish-speaking countries, so we'll be launching support for Spanish as well. The other tool for at-home learning that I'll highlight, and this one's near and dear to my heart because my younger daughter has been using it quite a bit, is aimed at students who are just learning to read. Just about a month ago in early May, we launched early access to a new tool called Read Along. It's an Android app. This one helps the students as they read aloud. It gives them verbal cues and encouragement to help them learn to read. And that's all based on Google's speech recognition technology and our speech-to-text technology. It actually first launched in India about a year ago. It was called Bolo, but we got a ton of feedback from parents, and so we decided to expand it globally, and we're really excited to hear your feedback. So that was the first section. Now I'm going to transition to this second category of things we're working on, which is about, again, creating safe, secure digital learning environments. I'm going to talk about both Classroom and Google Meet. On the Classroom side, there's a couple of things we're really excited about bringing to schools in the coming quarters. The first of them is about provisioning classes and rosters and keeping those in sync. We'll be launching a CSV-based tool to provision those classes. We're also launching 3 different things to make it easier to analyze and manage your deployments, including audit logs. You can identify and correct issues, some more analytics in the admin console, and then we're also going to be providing really rich, customized analytics and dashboards using Data Studio through our Classroom to BigQuery logs export. That'll only be available for G Suite Enterprise for Education customers. On Google Meet, again, I'll talk a little bit about things that we've already launched, and then I'll go to things that are coming soon. Here, when the slide says meeting creators and calendar owners, that really means the educator or the teacher running the meeting. Safety is really important to Google Meet, and we've launched several things to make sure meetings are safe by default in education. First is that for education meetings, only the teacher or the educator can mute or eject folks, so students can't mute each other or the teacher. Also, only the teacher can approve requests to join or knocks if folks are coming from outside of the domain. And then lastly, if you're using a nickname meeting, then after the meeting is over and the last person is left, users and students can't rejoin using the same meeting code. The meeting code expires. So that's where we've been. Things that are coming up on Google Meet, again, are all about making sure Meet is safe by default, and we're adding several security and moderation features to keep meetings safe. These are launching for all education users, G Suite for Education and G Suite Enterprise for Education. I'm going to talk about 4 things. The first is about anonymous joins. So anonymous joins is a feature of Google Meet where you don't actually have to be logged into a Google account. You can join the meeting just by providing a name. It's a great feature. It has really low friction to join meetings, but it also has been used by some bad actors to join meetings that they shouldn't have had access to. And so we're actually going to make a change so that all education users have to be signed into a Google account to join a meeting. Schools that still want to allow anonymous joins can opt in to do that. We're also adding several improvements to make sure that the teacher or the moderator has a lot of control over how people knock and how they can join the meeting. That means that if they eject someone, that person can't come back. It also includes that if they reject someone knocks twice, that person can't keep knocking. And if a lot of people knock all at once, then they'll have better controls for managing those knocks. Once the meeting is started, one of the most important things you can do is actually end the meeting effectively. So we'll be adding features so that when the meeting is over, the teacher will have the choice of ending the meeting and ejecting everybody or letting folks stay on even if the teacher's not there. And then while the meeting is happening, we have several moderator controls in the works to really ensure the teacher has full control over the meeting, including mute all, including access lock, so they can have full control over exactly who can join, chat lock, they can control who can chat, and present lock. And that is all. Thank you so much for joining and listening. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the Q&A section below the video, and thank you again.